Would you like to be able to turn your competitors into collaborators? Then stay tuned for this episode as we are joined by our special guest, Michele Parad, who will be sharing how you can leverage collaborations into opening new markets and customer segments and pooling resources that can reduce costs. Like, hey, I'm in for that. Who's in for that? I'm awesome, Angie Engstrom, honoring the awesomeness in you.
And I'm Kira Edgar. And once again, welcome, Michele. We are so thrilled to have you on Momentum Makers podcast. Big welcome.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here.
Now, I know a lot of you, or some of you, you might not know Michele, so I am going to do a short bio. Michele is a speaker, an author, a consultant, and an intuitive guide. And she's also the founder of Your Brilliance Accelerator and the Multidimensional Leaders-community. She has more than 15 years of deep expertise in startup marketing and is also an advanced healer and mindset trainer, stating that her genius zone, that's actually at the intersection between business and well-being. Exciting, right? Okay. So Michele's very unique area of expertise lies in helping course creators and founders increase their visibility through collaborate courses and retreats. I'm so excited to hear about this, Michele. So yeah, let's get to it. Thank you once again for being here.
Oh, what a pleasure.
Yay. Awesome. Well, welcome to Momentum Maker Podcast. So in your words, Michele, just like in 10 seconds to start off with, tell us what your business is.
Yes. So the past few years, I've been working primarily with individuals on helping them understand how to package their gifts into a business. It's easier said than done. A lot of people go in thinking they know what kind of role they should be playing, but in practicality, it doesn't necessarily play out. And so I helped them really look at some of the facades they might have been playing as to what they thought, who they thought they were, and how they should necessarily act inside of their business. And now that I've had a lot of experience working on those aspects with founders, I am now moving into a community builder type of role myself and helping people to understand how to have better collaborations with other people. And it starts obviously with knowing ourselves well and then understanding other people and where they're coming from and getting to know them in a deep way so you can both, sit in your brilliance and collaborate in the best possible way.
I love that. Oh, that's amazing. So tell us, like, how did you get started doing that? I mean, that's pretty interesting niche. I love it.
To summarize, is I have lots of interesting milestones along the way of my journey. But about 10 years ago, I had what was like a spiritual awakening. And I was working in different marketing and roles in different tech companies, was very passionate about specifically public type of problems that could be solved in the private sector. So I always kind of slanted towards like clean tech, HR, other areas where I could see systems needed to be changed. But I was, mostly in marketing roles and in very old systems, or at least I felt that I was in very old systems of hierarchy. And there's something that bugged me about that naturally. I think naturally on some level, I knew that there's a different way of working with individuals without having to have some kind of pyramid structure. And so, so I went through a journey of spiritual awakening and got really curious about different healing modalities, healed myself from different ailments that I had, and was just sharing on the side with people that, friends. And then I just started having some clients that I helped them in all areas of their life, whether it's like in diseases or relationships. And I definitely saw the interconnectedness of all of those things within us. And so after a little while, I saw that there was this like beautiful intersection of like my background in skill set in marketing and business, and helping essentially business owners to just navigate the landscape around, and to help them understand that the blocks that they have in their business are often tied to other areas of their life often. So it's hidden, in our subconscious, and oftentimes it's hard to unravel unless we really dig deep into what we're, consistently recreating in our lives. And so it's good to sometimes have an outside perspective on what we're doing, because we can have a lot of times tunnel vision in what we're creating and doing. And so
That's such a great point. That's a great point, because so many entrepreneurs, especially coaches, they're kind of working in their own little world, and they don't necessarily have the team built out yet, and are having, they haven't collected the people around them to help support them. So I hear you kind of weaving that into, that sounds like what you're doing now is you kind of felt that bottom pain, that pit, you hit that bottom, and you're like, there's got to be a better way. And now you're orchestrating beautiful collaborations, I assume. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I mean, there's collaborations on different levels. So I think what you're touching on is collaboration within a team structure. And I think probably for a lot of us, we go through a bit of painful cycles of kind of attracting maybe the wrong types of people, so that we can learn who the right types of people are that we want to surround ourselves with. And so there is this alchemical process that happens where and also, it does heavily depend on your own mindset and where you're going, is essentially who you're going to attract as well.
You said chemical, right? You said chemical process, right?
It's more energetic.
Energetic.
Alchemical, yes.
Okay.
So chemical meaning, first there's like a fermentation process that happens, right? So it doesn't look good, and then like finally the gold comes out of it. So that's kind of how I describe the entrepreneurial journey, just in general. There's a bit of trial and error that can happen at the beginning. And everything is a clue into where there might be a better way of doing things. And so yeah, it's difficult because there's so much information out there about what kind of team we should have. And again, it's like structures where you're like, okay, first you're supposed to have, I don't know, if we're talking about course creators and coaches and consultants, right? So they're like, you've got to have the VA, and then you've got to maybe have an OBM or copywriter or other marketing support. And, again, so much debate on like which you do first. But then just within that, you're like, well, what kind of VA are we even talking about? Is what is their strengths that maybe you can't handle or don't want to handle? So I think there's just so much specificity that needs to go into what kind of role you're creating for a person that you want to work with. So that's certainly one aspect of it. And I think the other piece is that we're always evolving and wanting to go into a new direction. And so does our team. So for example, my virtual assistant, she wants to become a web designer. And so I'm trying to help train her to go in that direction, because I know that that's also part of what my goal eventually will be, is like helping with building websites. It's not my goal today, but eventually it would be. So how beautiful would it be that, you know, we would grow together to have mutual goals be fulfilled. So that's just like one example too of like where we want to be sensitive to the roles that we want to be like continuously creating, rather than being necessarily stuck in one stagnant place of what we're consistently doing. Because over time, I feel like people can get bored with that, or it becomes monotonous, and then it just does, you know, doesn't become as exciting anymore. So that's one thing I've certainly noticed, just, you know, with my clients and my intimate team as well. So that's one aspect, is like your immediate team, but then there's collaborations outside of that. So, you know, it could be on summits, it could be podcasts, it could be courses. There's just such an array, or joint ventures in some way, joint events like you're probably doing as well. And so there's just such an amazing opportunity to get to know someone else on an intimate level, understand what other experts are doing out there, and help each other, you know, even beyond that one specific time and place that you're meeting to do that one campaign. So that's the thing, you know, I had a summit back in January, and for me, what was the most important is that I built relationships with all of the speakers, and it seeded so many amazing things that came out of that. Some were joint ventures. Some I know, like I'll probably be writing a book and publishing with one of the speakers, right? So some of them I'll become their client, they'll become my client, we'll, you know, or we'll do joint ventures after. So it's like, when we take every collaboration opportunity deeper and really get to know who's there, that's a really, really amazing opportunity to expand your reach and your impact, and like enjoy it also, and not have it be so transactional. So that, I mean, that's kind of what I'm seeing in the digital landscape right now, is that people are just like trying to get to the next event, get to the next speaking gig, get to, you know, to the next podcast, and they're not taking the time to really dive deep into the relationships that, or they could have, you know, formed with the specific initiatives they've already participated in. And so what a shame, you know, right? What a waste.
So true. So true.
No, it's really true, yeah.
Yeah, so I noticed how fast-paced this all was, and also that I didn't necessarily feel like a lot of the digital initiatives that I've and other people have participated in have necessarily formed deep connections with the audience too, which is a shame, because yeah, maybe you can get them into your funnel. And ultimately it is up to you to engage them as much as you can. But what are the other ways that you can really have an intimate connection, a more intimate connection with the audience? And so that's where just by observing what was going on in the digital space, I'm like, there's got to be a better way to showcase the expertise of so many talented people that I know. And so that's where the idea of this collaborative resource exchange and collaborative course came to be, which is something that is going to be an evergreen process throughout the year, which, you know, a group of intimate 20-25 people are going to be promoting throughout the year. We're going to be consistently, you know, doing our own specific campaigns around it and cross-promoting each other, supporting each other on social media, you know, having a little micro community of our like intimate group of experts in a specific, sphere. And so it's like our business besties that are there for us to cross promote, beyond this course. But now we know exactly what each other does, because we have access to each other's content, and it helps to facilitate even more opportunities, and it's a way to connect with our audience in a way that doesn't feel rushed, right?
Sounds amazing. Now, I was wondering, would you just quickly touch upon the process you use for this?
The process for just generally, so we're breaking them out into specific subjects. So the very first subject is on visibility. So we're getting experts, and this could honestly be a broad term. So it could be PR. It could be events. It could be even self-sabotage, as it has to do with visibility, right? So it's a all-encompassing topic, but there can be many angles to it. And essentially, we're vetting people to ensure that they already have an established offer. We're making sure that they have established expertise. So for us, it's not necessarily like the number of social media followers, but rather the quality of the content and how they really align with the values of our community as well. So yeah, we're heavily vetting the participants, and we're giving them feedback as well. And we're doing revenue share with them too. So it's not like just the host or the facilitator gets all of the benefits from this. We really want to make sure that, if you're delivering amazing content, that you're, part of it as well.
That's awesome. Because I'm
Nice.
hearing you say that so it's almost like a summit, but in a mastermind format, kind of. Does that?
It's I feel like it's new because it's not quite a mastermind, and it's not quite a summit. It's more of a mini course, because I think these days people have limited time. So I think they're more likely to watch something that's kind of up to 90 minutes on concentrated on a particular topic. And if they want to go deeper, they can, or they can go to that specific expert. So that's the idea, is, each person gets around 90 minutes and can be broken up into lessons, essentially. And, that way it's enough information that people can digest and really get some valuable content from. So it's not a fluffy sales workshop. Those are more, introductory. That wouldn't really be part of this. But it's valuable, and they can take specific action on it. It's often paired with a resource that allows them to, go through specific guidelines, or a challenge, or in whatever format that makes sense for the specific, workshop leader. So, yeah.
Got anything else, Geety? I still have questions.
Well, if you have questions, that's fine. I was just going to say, I like the fact that you're making this so easy. Actually, you're making it easy for the people who are listening, but you're also making it easy for the people who are contributing, because it's much easier to just do 90 minutes and do, I don't know, a 12-hour course or whatever. So yeah, easy. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And this can be, the first, if you're a course creator, this could be the first module of your course, and that's kind of like a little taster for people into your content, or it can work as a standalone. It really depends on the contributor. So, we leave it, there's some flexibility with it. And we really like to partner with contributors to ensure that, they're not only putting forward the best content, but it really aligns with their ultimate goals and their offer ultimately. Like, we're trying to help them set it up so that they can, you know, sell more and be introduced to more clients eventually as well. So,
And what
Nice.
is this geared a lot for the newer entrepreneur, would you say, or is it a mix of seasoned and new entrepreneurs?
it's more people who I wouldn't say are in the first phase of their business, but rather they're scaling. So they're a few years in at least. You know, each person is different, but generally they're looking to do more than just, you know, one social media strategy or one visibility strategy. They're looking for potentially multiple, right?
Right, absolutely. So the overall, because our listeners like to know like the process, like the steps, like what can we walk away from today and implement, you know, even if, you know, we don't directly get involved with what Michelle's doing. And because you mentioned a process, you know, and visibility was the first thing you had said. Is that the main thing that the group focuses on, or is there any other steps to the process? I would assume they come in to this environment and visibility is probably the first thing they focus on, and then what comes next?
So visibility is like the first topic, but we're going to be rolling out other topics. So it'll be like leadership, well-being, you know, there'll be some marketing will kind of be broken out a little bit. So even if you're not a visibility expert, I would recommend people to apply because it's, you know, you'll get feedback either way. So we're happy to do that. And we're also going to see, you know, how the group evolves, and if there's like some kind of theme that we start to see kind of emerge, then we're going to group that together as well. So yeah, it's really meant for experts who want to collaborate to get, you know, cross-pollinate audiences and get bigger visibility, because we're going to have eventually a TV show. So there's going to be different platforms. We're cross-promoting on different communities as well that we're partnering to. So there's going to be lots of ways that people are going to be amplified. You know, that's more than, you know, the traditional bundle, for example. Yeah.
Awesome. How about any other success stories that you can share, like anything, you know, someone you've worked with or yourself by using this process?
Yeah, I mean, so this process is relatively new. So, you know, right now we're just giving feedback. And overall, I would say if someone wanted to contribute, it's just to look at, I think one of the easy things to look at is, have you like been on sales calls and had like one thing that somebody consistently asks you about or has an objection around, and maybe create a little mini course around that. And that's your topic, right? So not overcomplicating it, like, oh my goodness, I have to build something. I mean, for some people, they already have this inbuilt, like they've done workshops before and they can just easily take the recording. So that's wonderful. But if you're creating something new, or if you're pivoting in some way, you know, you obviously want to align what you're pivoting to with your resource. So I think that's one easy way to look at it. I'm developing an AI tool, which hopefully will be ready by the time you launch this podcast. And that will that will also help you just it's like a little mini coach. So it'll help you, it'll, you know, go through a string of questions and answers that will help you think through the process of like what to develop inside of the content of your workshop.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
AI is so
sounds
fun.
nice.
So
Yeah.
much. So many
Yeah.
ways. Go ahead, Didi.
So yeah, I was just gonna say, so when you're talking to people about this community, what's your impression? What's holding them back? Do you have any feeling around that?
From joining the community or from
Yeah,
the
or working with you?
partner?
Yes, I guess it's sort of the same thing, anyways. Yeah.
Working with me or joining the multidimensional leaders.
Yes.
What is holding them back? Um, I mean,
It seems like such a no-brainer. So
Yeah,
yeah, and
absolutely.
so maybe there isn't
So
anything. Yeah,
yeah.
like everyone's jumping in today.
Yeah, you would think about the normal things like time, but it doesn't take long. You just told us. You would think about money, but I don't think that would be an objection either. Any other things?
I think, the only thing is like maybe if they're not ready. So like I said, you kind of have to have at least your offer ready to go and your copy and your website messaging has to kind of be on point. Otherwise, this isn't going to be as useful for you. If then, people are going to be confused about what you do kind of after going through the workshop. So, so like I said, you kind of have to have a lot of, foundational pieces in place. So I think for some people, if they're not there yet, it might just be that they'll, apply to something like this 6 months down the line. And it is going to be kind of a rolling basis. So there may be, a few people down the line that will, still bring into the mix as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been fascinating, Michele. I've really enjoyed learning about this whole project that you have going on. I love it. I absolutely love it. To collaborate with like-minded people and people that, and you touched on this earlier, people that love what they're doing, and just surround yourself with those people, because, it's not, because sometimes entrepreneurs can get stuck in that, how do I do this? And, where's that? And it's not the what and the where and the, it's the who can you bring in to help, handle whatever the challenge is. We're not meant to be doing this thing called entrepreneurship by ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's kind of the download that I had a couple years ago already. So I've been thinking about it for a while. It's like, I know that the next stage of marketing or conscious marketing is all about collaborations. And that'll also help us get out of some of the content-based rat race, where you're just like constantly needing to put out content in different platforms, etc. But then if you're building everything on relationships, I think we're really moving back towards that. I think that's facilitating that in some way, is really gonna differentiate you in this like AI world, I would say.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Michele, as we wrap this up, is there any final words you want to share with our listeners?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I didn't mention about this collaborative course is that I really want this to bring us into a new type of economy, of like a sharing and trading expertise kind of economy. And that's part of what I'm trying to facilitate, like on a very micro level, but can then maybe be applied to other spaces as well. And so when we're in a place where we're exchanging our knowledge and expertise, each of us benefits, grows. It's not as expensive. It's not a crazy mastermind. I think a lot of people are being a little bit more tightness, with their money, and being more selective with who they spend money with. And so why not have a way that we're sharing and growing together that's really, cost effective and is going to help all of us become better. And so that's really the underlying intention for this. Yeah.
Beautiful. Just helping each other. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so if people are watching this, Michele, and they're thinking, hey, I like to work with Michele, what's the next step?
Yeah, so you can come to my website, micheleparad.com. Feel free to take my quiz that's on Brilliance Archetype. So that will help you understand a little bit more of the role that you might want to take inside of your business and get some inspiration there. And you can join my free community, the co-creators. So that's the free version of the platform where we're expanding on different collaborations, including this project that I mentioned.
Okay, so I'm just going to repeat. You can go to micheleparad.com, and it's Michele with just one L, and Parad is Parad.
Yep, that's right.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well,
Okay, so
Okay.
thank you so much for joining us today, Michele. It's been a pleasure. It's been so cool. I really love this idea about collaborations and community. It's great. So thank you for joining us. Let's wrap it up. I'm Gita Afghar.
And I'm Awesome Angie. And thanks for listening to Momentum Maker Podcast. And thank you, Michele, for joining us. This is so brilliant. I'm excited about looking at all those resources. So yeehaw. So listeners, keep your momentum, keep moving forward. And if you happen to be a course creator spending too much time selling one-on-one, and you're ready to condense time and sell one-to-many, then open up a tab on your browser and go to elitevirtualstages.com/reports. That's our website, Angie and Giti's website, to learn how you can turn your expertise into 6 or 7 figure days using live transformational virtual masterclasses. So once again, Michele, thanks for joining us. And keep your momentum, everyone.